Millions of people know the story of Ezekiel's Valley of Dry Bones, but many never notice the three remarkable truths hidden within this extraordinary vision. Why would God ask Ezekiel a question when he already knew the answer? Why were the bodies given flesh, yet left without breath? And who did these dry bones really represent? The answer to that final question changes the way many people understand Ezekiel 37. To understand this vision, we must first enter the valley. Before we enter the valley, there's something many people never realize about this vision. Ezekiel wasn't standing in Jerusalem when God gave this prophecy. He was already living in exile in Babylon, hundreds of miles from home. The temple had been destroyed. Jerusalem lay in ruins. For many, it felt as though God had abandoned his people forever. It was to these hopeless people that God revealed one of the greatest promises of restoration in all of Scripture. Now, let's enter the valley. More than 2,500 years ago, God's prophet Ezekiel was living among the Jewish exiles in Babylon. Ezekiel came from a priestly family and was trained to serve in the temple before God called him to proclaim his message. Ezekiel is also called Son of Man more than 90 times in this book, more than any other prophet. Their homeland lay in ruins, Jerusalem had fallen, and hope seemed lost. Then the Spirit of the Lord carried Ezekiel into a vision unlike anything he had ever seen. But why would God lead his prophet to a place that seemed completely hopeless? As Ezekiel walked among the remains, he noticed something that many readers quickly pass over. The bones were not simply dry, they were very dry. That detail wasn't accidental. Ezekiel wants us to understand that every possibility of human recovery had long since disappeared.
The Spirit led me back and forth among them, and everywhere I looked were bones. Countless lining bones, bleached by the sun, scattered across the valley floor.
They had been exposed for so long that every trace of life had disappeared. From a human perspective, there was no possibility of restoration. Then, instead of giving Ezekiel an instruction, God did something unexpected. He asked a question. As Ezekiel looked across the valley, he wasn't seeing scattered bones by accident. God had led him there for a reason. Then God asked a remarkable question. Son of man, can these bones live? But here's something worth noticing. God wasn't asking because he didn't know the answer. The question wasn't meant to test God's power. This was to reveal what Ezekiel believed about God's power. Instead of guessing, the prophet answered with humility, "Sovereign Lord, you alone know." God then gave Ezekiel an extraordinary command. Prophesy to these bones and say to them,
"Dry bones, hear the word of the Lord."
It must have seemed impossible. How could lifeless bones hear anything? Then something astonishing happened. A sound echoed across the valley. Bones began moving, skeletons formed, tendons appeared, flesh covered them, skin stretched across every body. At first it looked as though the miracle was complete. Hold on the bodies. But something was still missing. There was no breath in them. Why would God stop the miracle here? Why create complete human bodies, yet leave them lifeless? The answer reaches all the way back to the opening chapters of Genesis. Here's something fascinating that is hidden in the original Hebrew. The word translated breath is the Hebrew word ruach. Depending on the context, ruach can mean breath, wind, or spirit. As this vision unfolds, Ezekiel deliberately uses this rich word to remind us that true life comes only from God. The bodies were complete, but without God's breath they remained lifeless. Once again, God spoke, "Prophesy to the breath, and say, "Come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe into these slain that they may live." As Ezekiel obeyed, the breath entered them. They opened their eyes, rose to their feet, and stood together as an exceedingly great army. If this vision were only about bringing dead bodies back to life, the story would end here. But the greatest revelation was still to come. God explained the meaning of the vision himself. At this point, many people begin wondering what the vision means. Is it about the resurrection? Is it about the church? Or is it about something else entirely? The remarkable thing is that we don't have to guess. Unlike many symbolic visions in the Bible, God explains this one himself. Listen carefully to his words. "Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel." The valley was never simply about death. It was about a nation that believed all hope was gone, and a God who specializes in bringing life where none seems possible. This is one of the most important moments in the entire chapter. God removes all uncertainty. The dry bones represent the people of Israel in exile, a nation that believed its hope had vanished. Their own words reveal their despair. "Our bones are dried up and our hope is gone. We are cut off." But God did not leave his people in despair. "Therefore prophesy and say to them, 'This is what the sovereign Lord says. My people, I am going to open your graves and bring you up from them. I will bring you back to the land of Israel. Then you will know that I am the Lord. I will put my spirit in you, and you will live." What began in a valley of hopelessness ended with a promise of restoration.
The Valley of Dry Bones was first a message of hope to Israel during one of the darkest moments in their history. God was reminding his people that exile was not the end of their story. When everything seemed beyond repair, he promised restoration. One of the most important lessons from this chapter is that God himself explains the vision. The dry bones represent the house of Israel, reminding us that the Bible is often its own best interpreter. As we've discovered today, the historical setting, the meaning of Ruach, and God's own explanation all help us appreciate this remarkable vision even more deeply. Thank you for joining us on this cinematic journey through Ezekiel 37. I hope it has helped you see this remarkable chapter in a fresh and deeper way. Here on Speak Life Motions, we're exploring the great stories and truths of the Bible through cinematic documentaries, from Jonah and Daniel to Moses, Joseph, Revelation, and many more. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which Bible story you'd like us to explore next. Until next time, may God richly bless you.